It's the beginning of May, and let me start off by talking about happy Mental Health Awareness Month. Happy Mental Health Awareness Month. And yeah, I support what they're doing or what folks are going to be doing for that. I support that. I support mental health awareness. I smell syrup out here. Was there a syrup truck and they spilled it and for some reason? Where are the pancakes? But anyway, yeah, I support mental health awareness. I wear these bracelets in support of them. I've been wearing them for I don't know how long. One of them, I need to get another one because the ink on the lettering on one of them is not as good as the other one. And the other one was first, and the second one, the ink is going out. I'm like, what's going on? The quality went down. I don't know. But anyway, mental health. Yeah, the reason why I say that is because yeah, I had my episodes. I had depression, several times, amongst other stuff, and yeah, it is a very, very dangerous disease. I think I was gonna say toxic, but I'm gonna say dangerous. To me, it's dangerous. To me, depression is a disease. So yeah, I completely, folks need to get help. Please get help. You know what I'm saying? Counseling, therapy, psychology, whatever, a job, a hobby, more than one hobby, even more than one job. True, because some of us we need to get the money, but hey, if the job helps, I'm all for it. So yeah, anything that helps, affirmation, I need to do that more, affirmation, like I'm the best old black comedian in Kentucky. I don't do some of that stuff, I don't know, but yeah, so if it's windy, my fault. I usually do this when I'm out here, and the wind is windy, so yeah. But yeah, mental health awareness. I had an episode this year, and like that been, I don't know, like 2026. I don't know what's going on. We got a lot of stuff going on. We have an assassination attempt. We had, all sorts of people want to come out and use derogatory terms towards people groups. We had people tragically passing away. We had people, tragically getting kicked out of the country, even if they belong here. We had, or I'll say detained. I'll say that. But yeah, get kicked out. Last year was crazy. This year was this year. So yeah, a lot of stuff going on. And yeah, we need, imagine those folks who just went crazy. If they had, sought help prior to that. Maybe this country would be in a better place. I don't know. I'm just thinking. So yeah, happy Mental Health Awareness Month. So I rock it. I rock the bracelets for it. If I would have got a tattoo, that'll be my first tattoo. I'm in my 40s. I'm like getting a tattoo in my 40s. I don't know. But yeah. So yeah, I had my episodes. Also, I would say if whatever's folks going through and they ain't dealing with it, right then and there, please deal with it, because it will build up and it will lead to health problems and mental problems in the future. So that's why I say that too. So yeah, because I'm going through it. So get that out. Whatever's messing, get that out. Because there's some people, I understand, and there's some people that feel like they're trapped. They can't get out of the situation they can't get out of. I know I am like that. I'm having that situation. Vocationally. So I have that situation in my job. So where I want to get out. I don't know if I don't know if there's going to be consequences. I don't know if there's going to be any, you're leaving us. Oh, we're going to do this to you, all that other stuff, because I'm not cool with one person, or that one person's, I'll call him a sidekick for now, but yeah, or they may have something on me. I'm like, and part of me is like, put it, send it to him, send it to the supervisor, and send it to the supervisor, because if their goal is to get me relieved, get me fired or whatever, so be it. I'm that person. I don't know if it's because of my upbringing. I don't know if it's because, I don't know, certain type of boldness, I'll say. Like, if you got something on me, put it, bring it up. Bring it up. I don't mess around with that stuff. I don't mess around with, if folks got something, if I'm a good worker, I'm a good worker. If I'm not, I'm not. But take it up with me. Don't conspire behind closed doors. And don't, whatever. Then people would, some people would. And if they need to, if that what makes them sleep at night, I don't know how toxic they are, but they're up there. So my whole thing is, please be sure what you got everything, please sure you got everything, your examples A, B, C, 1, 2, 25. I don't, it don't matter to me. I'm like, bring it up, if it determines my future employment in the company, so be it. There are some companies I don't want to work for anymore, and I'm glad I don't. Amazon's one of them. Amazon, who else? That's about it. Amazon, there used to be one, they called it ACS, and they changed it every now and then. One, it used to be called Xerox as well. I'd be like, that's another one. And I have my reasons. I'll probably share that later on, because I walked out of ACS. It was a crazy time. So 2008, I believe. But anyway, yeah. I'm like, I don't need this. I don't need the anxiety. I don't need the watching behind my back. I don't need the, the looking over my shoulder. I don't need any of that, because it's, it gets me paranoid and anxious. I'm like, I don't need that, so forget that mess. So yeah, whatever folks is going through, I was like, please get that out. I will pray for you to get out of it. Don't need to be a slave to that mess. I want to share something that happened last Friday. Of course, I was at my job. Not of course, well, I was at my job, and I listened to stuff on, whether it's music or whether it's a podcast off of YouTube and things of that nature, to keep the day going. Because I don't want to hear what's going on around me, because it's none of my business. So I decided to listen to stuff, and then I come across a video that I heard that I watched before, and the videos of people in the church, singing gospel, and in the video it was a white dude. He was singing gospel, he was clapping to the and he was doing his ad-libs to the and I was like, this is a church that does gospel music. You would assume that it's a black church, it is what it is. I think we had some light-skinned folks in there. We had some, we had some Caucasian skin up in there. We had some, I believe, some Hispanic skin up in there. I don't know, I don't know. I may be using the wrong terms for that stuff. May have been some Hispanics in there. May have been some white folk in there. It doesn't matter, but it was just the energy was a gospel energy. Dude was singing and double clapping and everything. I was like, man, he white, but he was invited to the cookout every now and then. But I heard, you know, the spirit catch, you know, the spirit in it, and I was like, at that time, I was like, oh my, and then I'll start to cry at my desk. I am glad there was walls between, because number one, I don't want to see them folk, but number two, I don't want to see them folk, but number three, man, I was like, I needed that. I was like, I grabbed my tissue, I grabbed the tissue, you know, that, you know, dot my eyes, you know, things of that nature, and, you know, I don't know what that handkerchief with. It was in my jacket, but anyway, it wasn't a handkerchief, it was a tissue. But I was like, crying can help the soul, I would say. You know, it can be the chicken noodle soup. But yeah, I need to get those out, you know, cause job, people getting on my nerves, and, you know, have me like, you know, on that don't push me because I'm close to the edge mindset, you know, and other stuff was going on, and I'm like, I don't need this worry in my life. So getting that out at that time was needed, and I wish I knew what that video was, because I would share it. You know, I know there's some people who are atheists or have a different religion or different belief set, you know, but, you know, what I believe is what I believe, who I believe is who I believe. So yeah, my faith is where my faith is. So yeah, I was glad that I heard that, and if I find that video, I'm definitely gonna